Hey guys, Penny here from Monaco Nail Academy, and in this week's episode of Fri-Yay Fudge Ups, we are looking at wrinkled gel polish. So, you know how every now and then you think you're doing a layer as thin as you possibly can, and then it gets a wrinkle. Well, first of all, Murphy's Law, I literally just spent about 15 minutes doing 30 odd layers of polish. None of them wrinkled, even though I did it wrong every single time. But now that we have a wrinkle, let's talk about why they happen, what we can do to prevent them, and what to do to fix them. So we commonly call these at Monaco jelly donuts. It's a nickname that stemmed from Alicia Armando Botero at Artistic once explaining to me that this was like a jelly donut, crispy on the outside and gooey on the inside, so like a jam donut in Kiwi terms. But basically, a wrinkle is caused by the gel polish not being able to cure properly in its 30-second LED trip. So what happens is gel shrinks anywhere from 3 to 20% during its cure time. And most brands, it's common for it to shrink about an average of 6%. So you're having the gel shrink because all of the molecules or monomers that make up this liquid or partially liquid plastic are getting together and tightening into chains. So they're forming chains where all of the molecules link up together, and then those chains tighten until instead of feeling like a liquid or a gel, our product now feels like a solid. Because those chains or the molecules are tightening up, they, of course, by proxy, take up less space, and therefore you have shrinkage. Now, if you get a full cure where the lamp makes it all the way down from the top of the layer of gel down to the bottom, then you will have a full cure of about 95% cured or higher. Anything less than that is undercured, and the tricky part is though that anything over 55% feels hard. So you can tap it and it feels solid, you can't dent it, and you think it's fully cured, but it can be 55% cured and still feel the same way. Now, sometimes if you have only a partial cure or an under cure like this, the top has started shrinking because it is curing and therefore should be shrinking. But the bottom layer, if you have applied too thick or your lamp isn't strong enough, the bottom layer is not shrinking yet, which means that the top layer shrinks away from the bottom layer underneath, and therefore it goes up into a wrinkle. Now, in that scenario, I know that when I first started out, I didn't understand the science behind gel polish wrinkles and under or over curing, and if it was a minor wrinkle, I would try my best to cover it up with top coat, and sometimes the top coat kind of sits into the wrinkle and suddenly the wrinkle is invisible. And if not, you do a second layer and hope for the best. This was me being very inexperienced and not knowing much at all, and I thought that that was fine because as long as you couldn't see the wrinkle, then no one could be unhappy about it. But that is far from the case. If you can't see the wrinkle, that doesn't mean that the polish is not undercured. And when you have undercured polish on the nail, the client will find that it will not last very long at all. And this is one of those scenarios where a client says, oh, my gel polish peeled off in one go, or my gel polish is peeling, and you sort of think, no, that's not how gel polish works. But actually, if it's undercured, it does. It will start peeling at one corner and the whole thing can lift away because the monomers that were supposed to join into chains and tighten around the top couple of layers of nail never tightened. Therefore, they just lift away from the nail. They're not attached at all and they have very poor adhesion. So you don't want to ever leave this on the nail. As much as it might seem like a quick fix to chuck some correction gel or top coat or a couple of layers of top coat on top, make it look pretty and away they go, never leave this on the nail. You've got a high risk of surface breakdown or peeling off, and if it does peel off, but perhaps say only this part is undercured and that starts peeling and the client pulls the rest of it, which was cured properly, you now have damage in that area of the nail where the client pulled the gel off. And I mean, the client doesn't know any better necessarily, you do. So it's your responsibility to make sure that your gel is not able to peel off in the first place. always use the lamp that matches your gel polish brand, because they are the only people that will have lab tested the cure to know that their lamp cures up to 95% or higher with their brand of gel. No one else is going to go around testing their gel polish with their competitors' lamps, because what are they going to do with that information? They're not going to say, oh, we're sold out of lamps, but don't worry, this other brand's lamp works. No one's going to do that. So the safest way of knowing that your lamp is the right one and curing properly is by using the brand of lamp that matches the brand of gel polish you use, and making sure that you don't rush and you do use thin layers. Once you've done those two things, you should be pretty well safe. So what to do when this happens? Honestly, soak it off and do it again. You don't need to etch the surface, because in theory you should have seen the wrinkle before top coat went on. If top coat made it on before you saw the wrinkle, then you can grab a file and etch the surface just like normal. But then what you're going to do is apply remover to a foil wrap, wrap up the nail, and soak that off and start again. Now, while that nail is soaking, you can go on and complete all the other nails, so that this, when it slides off and the product is gone, which should happen pretty quickly, then you just need to do base coat, 2 coats of color, and top coat curing in between each one. So you don't have to stop the whole service and waste time just because you need to soak this off. Keep going, do all the others, but don't cut corners. Always take off an undercured nail and reapply it. Do just remember that you can't judge undercuring because anything over 55% still feels solid. So any risk is not worth it, because if you got a wrinkle or soft polish, it's under 55%. It's under half cured, and that's not reasonable to leave on someone's nail plate for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, so I apologize if that's not the news that you wanted to hear, but I hope that from this point on, anytime that you accidentally jelly donut your gel, that you will remove it and reapply it. And I hope that you understand better now why it happens, so that perhaps we can prevent it by using thinner layers of gel and better lamps. Comment down below if you have any requests for future Friday Fudge Ups, and I will see you guys next Friday with another episode. Did you just say, is it radioactive?
Oh, no, sorry, microwaves or something. I don't know.
Okay, I'm still waiting for your hand. No, it's not radioactive.